Hi everyone, welcome to Live Stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's class on the surface is all about having fun with movement, but on a deeper level, we'll be working and looking to marry radiating stretches, core activation, and mindful breath work. As always, I'd like you to play where you're comfortable, modifying the movement if you need to. And the most important thing with today's class is just have fun with the movement. Don't overthink it. Don't second guess yourself. Just cut loose. Have some fun. You ready to play? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class towards the bottom end of the mat with some room to play in front of you. Heel toe in, connecting your big toes and your ankles, and find a narrow mountain. Standing up nice and tall with the arms softly at your side, fingertips lengthening down towards the floor while you tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in, and grow your spine to the ceiling. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, give me a soft bend in the knees and scoop your hands as if you were picking up a ball off the floor. Bring it back towards the center line, rinse and repeat, bending and extending through the arms, keeping the legs in a narrow mountain if you can, or opening up a little bit wider if you need to. Come up along the center line and float your hands into Jupiter Mudra, interlacing the fingers, index fingers together, and cross the thumb. Take a big breath in and float your Jupiter Mudra overhead. As you come overhead, wiggle out through the hip bones. Keep lengthening your hip bones and keep lengthening those fingers towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in and peel just off the center line to the right, stretching through the side of the body. Inhale and come back towards the center line. Exhale as you take it over to the other side. Inhale to come back. We're going to repeat that little side stretch twice more to each side. Exhaling as you come through the center line, looking at lengthening from the hip bone, through the ribs, through the meridian of the arm to the index fingers. Keep your Jupiter Mudra as you come back down the center line and morph into a little tree line on the right. Bending the right knee and placing the sole of the foot on the inside of the left leg. Front view, keep it small for me today, either toe connected to the mat or a little bit higher up underneath the knee, but place small. Find your tree, Tadasana. And when you're ready, float your Jupiter fingertips overhead. Keep lengthening through the index fingers, but keep softening through the collarbone, so don't bunch up those shoulders. Soften while you lengthen. Then as you start bringing your Jupiter Mudra back down to your start position, take a big step forward with your right leg and come into a warrior two line. Back leg at 90, nice little bend in your lead leg, knee and ankle stacking in the arms in a soft T frame. Rotate your palms to face in the same orientation as your face. Take a big breath in and on an exhale, pivot on the back toe and rotate your whole trunk to the right. Inhale to come back to your warrior two line, palms down. Take a big breath in and on an exhale, slowly rotate that little warrior. So drop your back hand to your back leg, invert your front palm, give me a soft little wrap around on that front arm, bend the elbow, look up towards the palm, and keep softly connecting with your back hand to the back leg, either softly on the thigh or wrapping into the inner thigh of the back leg. Float back to your warrior two line. Rotate your palms in, tuck your back toe under, and give me that rotation through the trunk. Come back to your start position on the mat in warrior two, and then interlace the hands behind your back, making a little fist, dropping the fist down between your bum cheeks as you squeeze the two shoulder blades together and sink a little bit lower through your warrior. Then see if you can take a bow, bringing your head to the inside of the lead leg as you find humble warrior. Keep pulling the belly button softly in. From here, we're going to find our way into a relaxed dog. Unbind the hands behind your back, connect them to the mat and step back into the down dog. Feet about hip width distance apart. Hands more or less shoulder width apart. Relax your dog by bending the knees so that you can feel work happening into the glutes and the back of the legs. And then gently walk your hands back towards your legs. As the hands near the feet, heel toe in and connect the big toes and the ankles. Peel softly up along the center line. Find your narrow mountain with the arms soft at your side. Tuck your tailbone under, pull your belly button in, root through the feet, and find Tadasana, mountain. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, bend at the knees. Use your hands as if you were scooping to pick up a big ball, and float back to your start position, elbows bent at your waist. You're going to do that once more, and then you're going to find Jupiter Mudra. Floating your index fingers overhead to set up a beautiful little off-center side stretch. Inhale and bring it back. Use your breath, exhaling every time you tick-tock off the center line. Inhale to come back, exhale to stretch. Keep that little tuck of your tailbone, belly button pulled in, and look for that length through the body. The last one, we're going to find our way into tree pose. Keep your Jupiter Mudra as you float the hands down, stopping in front of your heart center, your Anahata Chakra. Find a small tree line on the left, big toe connected to the floor, or coming up a little bit higher beneath the knee line, not on the knee joint. Take a big breath in and float your Jupiter hands overhead, thinking of piercing the sky with your fingertips. Soften through the collarbones. As you bring your Jupiter hands down, take a big step forward with your left leg and float into a warrior two shape, opening up your back leg to 90, wiggling out, making sure you've got knee over ankle on the lead leg. Rotate the palms in so that they're facing in the same direction as your face. Pivot on the back leg and take a big rotation through the trunk to the left. Inhale and come back towards the center line. Find your warrior two line, palms down. Drop your back hand to your back leg, invert the front palm. Give me a soft little wrap around. As you reverse your warrior, look up towards that palm. Paributta Virabhadrasana 2. Come back to your warrior two frame. Rotate the palms. Give me a nice little pivot on the back toe. Rotate the trunk to the left. Come back to your warrior two line. Palms looking down. Interlace the hands behind your back, making a little fist if you can, squeezing the two shoulder blades together, expanding laterally through the chest. And then take a little bow, bringing your head to the inside of the lead leg as you find humble warrior. From here, find your way into the down dog frame, connecting your hands to the mat and stepping your lead leg back. Settle into your down dog frame and then soften through the knees, finding a relaxed dog, almost as if you were trying to bring the chest and the knees closer. Walk your hands back towards your legs. We're going to repeat that little sequence once more on each side. Heel toe in. Peel up along the center line. Think of ragdolling back up to your start position. Find your narrow mountain and grow the fingertips down towards the floor as you tuck the tailbone under, pull the belly button in, and lengthen through your spine while rooting through the feet. Take a big breath in to prepare on the exhale. Bend at the knees, scoop, pick up your imaginary ball, and bend at the elbows, palms up to the ceiling. Rinse and repeat. Using your breath. Find your way into Jupiter Mudra. Float your fingertips overhead. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, tip just off center to the right. Inhale, come back. Every time you tick-tock over, maybe try and bring your arms closer to the floor so that you can really find that length happening through the side. Just play where you're comfortable. From here, we're going to find our way into a tree line. keeping your Jupiter hands, float them softly in front of your heart center and set up your tree line on the right. Once you feel nicely centered, take a big breath in and float your Jupiter fingertips overhead. Keep lengthening towards the sky while softening the shoulders away from your ears. You're going to step into a warrior two frame. As the hands start coming down, take a big step forward and ease into your warrior two line. Rotate the palms in. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, pivot on the back foot. Rotate your whole trunk to the right, keeping your toes tucked under on the back leg. Float back to your start position and find a traditional warrior two. Invert the front palm, drop the back hand to the back leg, wrap around, giving me a soft bend in the lead elbow and looking up towards your palm. That's your drishti, your focal point. Float back to your warrior two line, rotate your palms in, pivot on the back leg, give me a beautiful rotation through the trunk, floating to the right. Ease your way back into your warrior two line. Float the hands behind your back, making a little fist. Drop that fist down between your bum cheeks. Arch your warrior. Don't lose the bend in the lead leg. Keep your knee and your ankle stacked. On an exhale, fold forward. Thinking of bringing your head to the inside of the lead leg. And don't lean everything into the front leg. So keep pushing softly back into the back leg so that your weight distribution is equal. Unbind and find your way into a down dog frame. Once you've found it, soften through the knees, relax your dogs. And then slowly creep your hands back towards your legs. As your hands get closer to the legs, heel toe in. Soften through the knees and ragdoll roll up. Find that contraction through the core and peel up with control. Find your way into your narrow mountain. Lengthen the fingertips down towards the floor as you tuck the tailbone under and grow through the spine. Root through your feet. Take a big breath in on the exhale, bend at the knees, scoop to pick up your ball. Elbows bending at the waist as you come up. Rinse and repeat. Allow your breath and your movement to flow almost seamlessly. Bring yourself back into Jupiter Mudra. Take a big breath in and float your index fingers towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in, come out through the hip bones. On the exhale, come just off center to the left, looking for that length through the trunk. Inhale to come back. Exhale to take it over to the other side. Keep gently oscillating side to side, looking for that length through the body, syncing your movement and your breath in a beautiful harmony. You're going to find your way into a tree line from here, keeping your hands in Jupiter. Bend the left knee, find your resting spot, toe on the floor or maybe a little bit higher. When you feel centered, float your Jupiter hands overhead. Keep looking at a focal point on the wall softly in front of you to help with your balance. You're going to find your way into a warrior two line. As your Jupiter hands start coming down, open up into a warrior two line, taking a big step forward with your left leg, back leg at 90, rotate the palms in, lots of space between the fingers as you rotate to the left, pivoting and tucking the back toes under. Come back to your start position on the mat, floating back into a traditional warrior two. Invert the front hand, drop the back hand to your back leg and wrap around, softly bending that lead arm and looking up towards the palm. Ease your way back into your warrior two line. Rotate the palms in. Pivot on the back leg. Give me that little rotation through the trunk. Come back to your warrior two line. Interlace the hands behind your back. Think of dropping down between the bum cheek and arching, giving me a crescent shape through the back and maybe looking up to the ceiling if you can. Then gently hinge forward, Being mindful not to lean everything into the lead leg, so push softly back into the back leg, trying to even out your body weight distribution as you find your humble warrior. Ease your way into a down dog frame. Relax your dog, giving me a nice bend in the knees. And then when you're ready, gently walk your hands back towards your feet, checking that your feet are more or less hip-width distance apart, and then ragdoll rolling up, slowly opening up that contraction in the core as you peel back up into mountain. This time, give me a soft summer seaty line with your feet stacking in parallel underneath your hips. Arms are soft and relaxed at your side as you find your mountain. You're going to take a big breath in and float both of your hands overhead. Palms are just looking softly into the center line. And on an exhale, you're going to swan dive forward into a little forward fold, Uttanasana, trying to connect your hands to the floor. If connecting to the floor is not an option, maybe placing the hands on the top of your thighs and just lengthening, coming into a little tabletop line. We're going to play with the weight distribution on the feet. So at first, I'd like you to drag the weight forward into the balls of your feet and the toes. See how that back chain of the legs feels, and then rock the weight back into your heels. Then bring the weight to the right, knife edging the foot. Bring the weight to the left. And then think of tracing a circular pattern, moving dynamically between the front, side, and back. Maybe 3 circular traces in one direction, and then rinsing and repeating, moving in the opposite direction. Keep the belly button softly pulled into the center line as you play. Come to stillness, trying to keep the weight bearing equal on the whole foot. Then walk your way softly forward into a down dog, bending the knees if you need to. Once you've found your down dog shape, check that your hands are more or less shoulder width apart. Open up the spaces between the fingers. Find your little hasta bandha gripping through the fingertips, feet more or less hip width distance apart. Try and drop down through the heels of your feet, piking your bum up to the ceiling, keeping your gaze softly towards your knees or towards your navel as you pull the belly button in. We're going to take it to a 3-legged dog on the right. Bend the right knee and kick up the right leg behind you. Try not to pop and rotate at this stage. Keep your hips nice and stacked to the floor and try to keep your body weight distribution equal on your 3 points of contact on the mat. We're going to bring it into a little modified crescent lunge from here. So bend the back knee, swing it through. If the leg gets stuck on the mat, corral it, bring it forward. Line up your knee and your ankle on the lead leg. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Peel up along the center line and bend your elbows, finding a stacked position with the palms behind your knee. Don't press on the knee joint, just behind, and don't lean everything into that lead leg. Pretend you've got a little piece of string that's gently pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, giving me as much length through the spine as you can, and giving me a slight crescent shape in the back. Chin line on this round, nice and parallel to the floor. From here, we'll play with a little modified half camel line. Tuck your back toe under and bring the weight back, stacking your hip over the knee. Step your lead leg back so that it is in line with your knee, front view, knee and foot in a straight line. Place your right hand on the inside of the right knee, push the right knee away and tuck the left arm behind your back, either keeping it loosely tucked or bring the fingertips in and try to reach for the inner thigh of the right leg. Play where you're comfortable. Chin line either parallel to the floor or give me a soft throw back and peep up to the ceiling. Just play where you're comfortable. From here, we're going to come back into that crescent lunge shape. Unbind the hand from behind your back, relax the back foot and step forward with the right leg. Knee over ankle. This time, Instead of your stack, you're going to float your hands overhead, lengthening your fingertips up towards the ceiling as if you were holding a huge ball between both of your hands. Try not to bunch up your shoulders. Soften the shoulders away from your ears, almost making your shoulder blades heavy towards your lower back. Keep putting the belly button softly in towards the center line as you find Ananya Asana, Crescent Lunge modification. Then float your hands down to the mat. We're going to play with a modification of half monkey god. Tuck the back toe under and walk your weight back till the hip stacks over the knee. We played with this one earlier on in the week, but we're going to change it up. Disconnect your front toes from the mat, either staying here, fingertips connected to the mat, or rotate the hands and allow them to softly float off the mat. Scoop, pick up a big ball, take a big breath in, bend at the elbows. You're going to rinse and repeat, playing with that scooping motion, almost as if you were lifting something up off the floor. From here, find your way into 4-point kneeling, floating the right leg behind you, and set yourself up in a 4-point kneeling tabletop line. We're going to play up cat-cow, Chakra, Tadasana. Take a big breath in from a tabletop line, and on an exhale, round out in cat, looking for that contraction in the core, stretching into the shoulder blades and the lower back. On an inhale, come all the way through neutral spine, giving me a concave shape as you find your cow. Exhale, come back to a neutral tabletop line. Take an inhale to prepare, and on an exhale, bump your hips to the left. Keep your back line in table and peep over the left shoulder for your left bum cheek. Inhale and come back to the center line, keeping your belly button softly pulled in. On an exhale, bump your hip to the right as you look over the right shoulder. Come back to the center line. Inhale to prepare. On an exhale, round out in cat, holding that contraction. Inhale, find your cow, coming all the way through neutral, but keeping control through the core. Find your way back into a table line. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, bump your hip to the right as you look over the right shoulder for the right bum cheek. Keep your belly button softly pulled in. Inhale, come back to the center line. Exhale, bump your hip to the left as you look over the left shoulder. Come back towards the center line and gently keep your gaze down on the mat between your two thumbs. Don't drop the head down. Keep a long line through the spine. We're going to stretch on the diagonal. Let's do left leg, right arm, coming into a soft extended line. Try not to pop and rotate through the shoulders and the hips. So keep them nicely stacked to the floor and keep your gaze down on the mat just to the side of your right thumb. Stay here or bring it into Tiger, Viagrasana, by bending the back leg, reaching for the bridge of your foot, squaring up softly through the hips. Think dancer, kick the foot into your hand, either looking down at the mat or giving me more of a crescent shape through the back as you softly look up towards the ceiling. Just play where you're comfortable. As you come out of your tiger, find your way into a down dog frame and arch your dog on the right. Kick up the right leg behind you. Bend the knee, point the toe up to the ceiling, and then think of dropping the foot to the left and peeping over the left shoulder as you arch your dog. Zippering up on the inside of the ankle bone on the left, all the way to your belly button to protect the lower back. You're going to swing through and come into a warrior 2 line from here. Or actually not a warrior 2, let's play with a little high lunge. So creep the foot forward, check that you've got knee over ankle, and then let's just gently open up through the groin by rocking the weight back and forth into that back foot. Feel that opening happening through the groin. Fingertips just softly connected to the mat. We're going to bring it into a triangle line from here. Step up the back leg slightly at 45. Straighten up both legs. Place the right hand on the shin bone of the lead leg and open up into a modified triangle. Don't lean or press into that shin. Just softly connect. There's no tension at all. I'm using my top arm that's lengthening up towards the ceiling to hold the majority of my body weight as I play with my triangle, Trikonasana. Let's take it into a little balancing challenge from here. Bend the lead leg, half moon, place your fingertips on the mat, or you could use a block if you needed to and place the block on the floor for support. See if you can float into a soft T-frame through the arms, either staying here or bringing it into sugar cane by bending the back leg. Run the hand down the chain of your leg. Don't look for it, just feel for it. See if you can reach for the bridge of your foot. Think dancer, kick the foot into your hand. Get a nice little stretch into that quad. All right, find your warrior two line from here. So bend the lead leg, step back into your warrior two frame. Rotate the palms in, tuck your back toe under, pivot to the right. Keep those back toes tucked under. Float back to your warrior two line. And let's morph into a warrior one. Tucking the back toe under, so modifying it slightly, floating your hands into Jupiter, coming low to the floor with the pelvis as you float your Jupiter hands overhead. Find your way into a down dog frame from here, and we'll play it up. As you step back into your down dog, think of that relaxed down dog we played with earlier on. So bending at the knees, flat palms on the mat, or you could even bring it onto the fingertips if you prefer. And then bring one hand off the mat and bend and extend as you think of scooping something off the floor. Change sides. Either playing with a flat palm on the mat or little spider fingers. Ease your way back into your down dog frame. Come onto the tips of your fingers and walk your way back. Bend at the knees. Check that your feet are stacking underneath the hips as you ragdoll roll up, opening up through that contraction through the core. Find your mountain, Tadasana. Arms soft at your side, feet stacking underneath your hips, tailbone tucked under, belly button pulled in, rooting through the feet. Big breath in, float your hands overhead. We're going to swan dive down to come into our modified Uttanasana, either hands on the top of your thighs or connecting to the mat. You could even play with your block if you like and place it on the floor in front of you, finding a lean-in position. Bring the weight bearing forward onto the forefront of your foot. Rock it back into the heels. Bring it onto the right side. Lean to the left. Then start tracing a circular pattern in one direction, moving through all 4 points. The front, the side, the back, the side again. Doing about 3 circles in one direction, and then tracing that rotational movement in the opposite direction. Keep your belly button softly pulled into the center line the whole time that you're playing, so no muffin tops hanging on the floor. Alrighty, we're going to walk it out into a down dog. Find a soft down dog shape, play where you're comfortable. Find your Hasta Bandha, send the energy up through the fingertips, almost hollowing out underneath the palms, drawing energy up through the arms. Let's find a 3-legged dog on the left, softly bend the left knee, and then kick up the left leg behind you, bracing into that heel. Send energy out through the heel and keep your hips nice and stacked on this one. Bend the knee, swing through, stepping to the inside of that lead hand. If your foot gets stuck on the mat, just corral it, bring it forward, line up your knee and your ankle. Drop the back knee, drop the back foot, and find your Crescent Lunge modification 1. Coming up nice and tall, stacking your palms, and thinking of growing through your neckline towards the ceiling. Feel a nice little stretch on the inside of the hip bone on the right. Let's play with that half camel line. Ardha Ustrasana. Tuck your back toe under. Bring the weight back till you stack over the knee. Step the left leg out to the side and line up the foot and the knee more or less in a straight line. Left palm to the inside of the left leg. Tuck the right arm behind your back or reach with the right fingertips for the inside of the left thigh. Chin line parallel, or softly look up towards the ceiling and stretch the little turkey waddle underneath your chin. Keep the belly button softly pulled in wherever you're playing. We're going to find our way back into that crescent lunge. Unbinding, relaxing the back foot behind you, step forward again. Don't lean into the lead leg. Keep lengthening through your crown as you float your hands overhead, thinking crescent shape through the back, looking softly up to the sky. Float both hands either side of the lead leg. Tuck your back toe under. Walk your weight back till your back hip stacks over the knee. Disconnect the front toes from the mat. Finding a soft Ardha Hanumanasana, half monkey guard. And then maybe playing with that movement dynamically. Big breath in as you scoop something up off the floor. Exhale. Play with your breath. Find a release on the exhale. You're going to find your way into a 4-point kneeling frame from here. So just swing that left leg back. Find your position on the mat. Take a big breath in from table. Exhale and round out into cat. Looking for that contraction. Use the whole inhale to come through neutral spine, finding a concave shape as you ease into cow. Ease your way back into a tabletop line. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, bump your hip to the left as you look over the left shoulder, trying to keep a relatively tabletop line. Inhale, come back, holding that table line. Exhale, bump your hip to the right as you look over the right shoulder. Find your way back to the center line. Inhale to prepare. On the exhale, round out and hold that cat stretch. Inhale, come through neutral, find your cow shape, keeping the belly button softly pulled in. Exhale, find your table. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bump your hip to the left as you look over the left shoulder, keeping your belly button pulled in. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, bump to the right, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, bring it back to the center line and ease your way into an alternate stretch. Let's do left leg, right arm, coming into soft extension, trying to keep a long line through the arm, neck, back, and leg. Stay here with your gaze gently down on the mat, not dropping the head, keeping that long line through the neck, or bending the back leg, reaching for your foot, squaring up softly through the hips, and then maybe just keeping your gaze down on the mat or opening up into more of a crescent shape as you find Viagrasana. Let's unbind. Find your way into a down dog frame and then arch your dog on the left. Kick up the left leg behind you. Bend the left knee, point the toe softly up to the ceiling. Drop the foot to the right, opening up the knee as you arch, looking over the right shoulder. Keep your belly button firmly pulled in. Make sure you're bracing through the core. We're going to swing through into that high lunge. Find your lunge line. Uttita Ashwa Sanchalasana. Gently, either palms on the mat or fingertips on the mat as you play with the weight bearing in the back leg. Think toes and then heels, opening up nicely through the groin. You're going to ease your way into a triangle from here. Step up slightly on the back leg, dropping it to about 45, lengthening through both legs. So extend them and place your left hand on the left shin, not leaning aggressively into the leg, lengthening through the top arm as if there was a piece of string, a little marionette string, pulling you up towards the ceiling. Think soft T-frame through the arms. Play where you're comfortable. Hold here for a few more breaths and we'll find our little balancing challenge in half moon. Use a block underneath your hand if you need to. Bend the lead leg. Look for a spot on the floor in front of you. Place your fingers on that spot. Step up the back leg using your toe if you need to find your balance. And then rotate on the top hip, trying to stack your right hip on the left. Staying here Or maybe reaching for your foot on the back leg and coming into sugar cane, getting a nice stretch into that quad. So think of kicking the foot softly into the palm of your hand. Find your way into a warrior two line. Sink those hips and the pelvis down towards the floor. Rotate your palms in. Pivot on the back foot, giving me a rotation to the left. Ease your way back to the center line. Find your original warrior two line. Then tuck your back toe under. Morph your hands into Jupiter Mudra. Modify your warrior one, almost marrying it with a lunge line, and drop down low through the pelvis. Find your way into a down dog frame from here and hang in your relaxed dog. Either flat palms or onto the fingertips. Float one hand off the mat and give me a little scooping motion with the arms as if you were lifting something off your mat. Give me about 3 scoops on one side and then change, either fingertips or flat palm, wherever you want to play. Keep that relaxed dog position on the legs. Find your way back into your full relaxed down dog frame. You're going to step or hop to the front of your mat. Use your relaxed dog, hopping forward to cross the legs behind you and sit back on your bum, extending the legs out in front and finding staff pose, Tadasana. Sitting up nice and tall, arms at your sides, palms down into the mat, or maybe fingertips, but don't lean off your tailbone. I want a beautiful long line through your spine. Pretend that you've got your lower back and shoulders pressed against the wall and look for as much length through the spine as you can. Maybe softly bracing into the feet and bringing those heels off the mat. Let's play with a little Mariachi twist on the left. Bend the left knee and place the sole of the foot on the inside of the right leg. Start first, same arm to leg. Hug the left knee with the left arm and float the right fingertips to the floor behind you, trying to give me as much length through the spine as you can. Try not to lock out and lean back. So just give me soft spider fingertips on the backhand, soft elbow, soft shoulder. Inhale, come back to the center and take your twist in the opposite direction. Opposite hand to knee, float the left hand behind you and just find a soft wrap around as you come into the twist, lengthening through that spine. Come back to your first twist, same hand to knee. Then see if you can bring the left elbow and shoulder in front of the left knee. Extending your fingertips and dropping them to the mat, staying here or rotating through that front arm to wrap around your leg and maybe coming to a little bear grip behind your back. If you can't quite make that connection and you've got a strap in hand, you can use the strap to help you make that connection. Just play where you're comfortable. Inhale, peel back up along the center line and come into a seated half a happy baby. Reach for the undercarriage of your left foot and draw the leg up in a little tabletop line, trying to tuck the knee as close to your armpit as you can. You could always use the strap around your foot as well if you're struggling to make that connection. Then hold onto the left foot with your left hand and float the right arm out in front, palm looking into the center line. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, extend the left leg and float the right arm behind you, extending fingertip to toe. Inhale to draw back into your start position. Let's do that twice more. Big exhale as you open up into a modification of arrow. Inhale as you come back. Let's do one more. As you come back towards the center line, extend the leg out in front and just give me a soft little forward fold coming into Paschimottanasana, thinking nose to knee. If you're struggling to connect, maybe using the block, placing it between the two legs, finding a lean-in position. and stacking your forearms and leaning into the forearms, or you could even take the block and wedge it behind your feet, pulling in and maybe stretching the back chain of your legs a little bit more aggressively by using that oppositional stretch. And just think of folding softly forward, trying to bring your chest as close to the top of your thighs as you can. Just play with it wherever you're comfortable, even if it's just softly draping and placing the hands on the floor. Peel up along the center line. Bend the right knee. Place the sole of the foot on the floor. Hug the right knee with the right hand as you softly rotate to the left, and find a spot for your fingertips on the floor behind you. As you look over that left shoulder as if somebody was standing behind you. Keep lengthening through the spine and keep that belly button pulled in. Big breath in. Let's rotate in the opposite direction. Opposite hand to knee. Keep lengthening through the spine. Make sure that your bum bones are equally weighted. So try not to lean aggressively into one of your bum cheeks. Keep your supportive legs softly braced. Inhale and come back to your first little twist. Same hand to leg. Bring the right elbow and shoulder in front of your knee line, extending the right arm out in front of you, maybe just placing the fingertips on the floor as you look over the back shoulder, or rotating the hand away. Wrap that arm around your lead leg and try to come into a little bear grip with the hands behind your back, using a strap if you need to, or just stop anywhere along that chain. Gently peeking over the back shoulder and lengthening through the spine. From here, we're going to find that seated half a happy baby. Unbind the hands behind your back, come back to the center line, reach for the undercarriage of your right foot, and bring the leg into a little tabletop line, bending the knee and tucking it in, almost as if you were tucking it into your armpit. Take a few breaths here, evening out your body weight distribution. Then hold on to the right foot with your right hand and float the left arm in front, palm looking into the center line. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on an exhale, extend the right leg and float the left arm softly behind you, giving me a long line from the fingertip to the foot. Inhale to come back to your start position, tucking that knee into your armpit. Exhale, shoot it out. Inhale, come back. One more time. You're going to find your soft little forward fold, Paschimottanasana. From here, playing where you're comfortable, either reaching for the feet, draping your hands on the mat, maybe reaching for your block, placing it between the thighs, finding a stack position, or using the block and wedging it behind the feet, pulling the block into your feet as you push and resist with the feet. And think chest to legs. So just play where you're comfortable. Try and relax the sacrum area. Don't fight the stretch. Just close your eyes, take your focus in, and on the exhale, think of bleeding and melting. If you're really tight, maybe wiggling out through the legs. From here, we are going to use a roll down, but we're going to modify the roll down to come into a supine butterfly on the back. So you can either just open up the legs and roll down one vertebra at a time, or give me a soft butterfly line on the mat, but don't tuck the feet in too close to the perineum. There's rather a large space between your feet and your perineum. Float the arms out in front of you. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, nod your chin to your chest, round out softly through the spine, and roll down onto the back. Once you've made it onto the back, tuck the feet in closer towards the perineum. And then place the hands on your rib cage, lower end of the rib cage, allowing the fingertips to softly zip lock so that they look like the interlacing teeth of a zip. Close your eyes and take your focus in. On an inhale, think of expanding laterally through the chest so that your hands draw away from each other. On the exhale, allow the ribs to collapse in and the fingertips to draw back into their closed zip position. Play with that breath movement. Looking first for just that lateral expansion through the ribs. Keeping a comfortable neutral line on the back. If you feel uncomfortable here in a supine butterfly, you could always come into a modified bridge line and place the soles of the feet on the floor. Once you're comfortable with your lateral expansion, add a third dimension in. As you breathe in, don't only expand the ribs to the side of the room, but think of expanding your diaphragm up towards the ceiling, almost giving me a soft little dome through the belly. Exhale and allow those 3 dimensions to collapse in. Trying to keep your inhalation and exhalation through the nose, if you can, unless your sinuses are congested. Once you've got your 3 dimensions going, add the 4th dimension in. So as you breathe in, not only expanding laterally to the side of the room and up towards the ceiling, but back towards the mat, as if you were opening up your diaphragm in 4 dimensions, trying to get as much breath into the very bottom of your diaphragm. Almost allowing that belly to softly dome up as you play. Give me 2 more relaxed breath cycles here, playing with an inhalation and exhalation ratio that you feel comfortable with. Keeping it soft, relaxed, but mindful. As you complete your last cycle, keeping your eyes closed, bring the knees together and drop the soles of the feet to the mat, opening up your feet and your knees hip-width distance apart, so you're more or less in a bridge setup with a neutral spine. Float your hands into prayer and allow your wrist line to rest softly on your chest bone. Take a big breath in to prepare, and on an exhale, tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position, scoop, round out, imprint your lower back into the mat. Inhale and come back to neutral spine. So almost think of playing with a supine cat-cow. Exhale to round up, getting a nice little release into the lower back area, make those ribs heavy into the mat. Inhale to come back to neutral. Just playing once more with a breath ratio that you feel comfortable with and looking for that release into the lower back area on the exhale as you scoop and round out. Keeping the eyes gently closed and keeping your focus inward on the breath and the movement that's happening in the body and the release that you're trying to find by marrying those 2 together. Make this your last breath cycle. And then gently find your way into a fetal position, preferably onto the right side of the body. Float your right arm overhead, roll overhead onto your right side, bending the knees softly and finding a soft fetal frame, using the bottom arm either in extension or bent to find a little bit of a pillow for your head. Top hand braced into the mat or softly on your knees, and just take a couple of gentle breaths here in Tadasana. Keep your eyes soft but unfocused. Just give your body a chance to find homeostasis. And then from here, you're going to push up and come to a seated frame of your choice. So either pushing up and sitting cross-legged, or maybe finding your way into Thunderbolt, a kneeling frame with the knees together and the feet together sitting back. You could also just come to a high kneel frame, or you could reach for your block, open up your knees, tuck the block between the legs and sit back on the block. So just do what you feel comfortable with. Find a seated frame and float your hands to prayer softly in front of your heart with your elbows soft and relaxed. Keep your prayer hands soft. A little bit of space between the fingers at first. Close your eyes and take your focus in. Take your 2 thumb tips and touch them to your chest, your heart center. Reminding yourself of how important it is to keep yourself open and receptive to love, both the giving of love, but more importantly, the receiving of love from others as well. Float your prayer hands a little bit higher and allow your thumb tips to lightly graze your lips, reminding you of how important it is to think before you speak. Your words have the power to boost and bolster or cut like a knife. Use them wisely. Float your prayer hands a little bit higher and allow your thumb tips to lightly graze your third eye, the area between your 2 eyebrows, your Anya chakra, the seat of consciousness in your body. Reminding you of how important it is to try and use conscious thought in all your deeds. Actions have consequences. Try and anticipate what those might be. Float your prayer hands a little bit higher still, and then allow your wrist line to softly rest on the crown of your head. Your crown chakra, the highest energy center in your body, reminding you of how important it is to keep yourself open and receptive to everything that the universe has to offer, both good and bad. Both provide learning and an opportunity for growth. With that thought, gently bring your prayer hands back down, sandwiching your palms together and finding a soft connection in front of your heart as you close off your practice by taking a little bow. Namaste to you all. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Shoot me your comments in the comments box below. And remember to subscribe to my channel with your notification bell on. I shall see you all for playtime tomorrow. We are conditioning, working the whole body in our Pilates fusion class tomorrow. Until then, keep it light.